You cannot claim self-defense against a danger you create.
Did you hear one word out of Mr. Binger's mouth about provocation? You didn't, because it was never said.
Closing arguments made today in the trial for Kyle Rittenhouse. The prosecution told the jury Rittenhouse provoked the entire incident, while the defense claims Rittenhouse feared for his life and says all of his actions were in self-defense. The jury will begin deliberations tomorrow, and joining us live, someone who has been in all sides of high-stakes court cases, retired state Supreme Court Justice Janine Geske, now a distinguished professor of law at Marquette. Justice, great to have you here. This is not a case of whodunit. This is a self-defense case. What's your take as it heads to the jury right now? Who do you think made the stronger case?
Well, it's a tough case. I think we're going to see a really long, serious jury deliberation. I mean, the state made a really good closing argument, but there's a lot of issues, and the defense did a good job defending their client. It's such a hard thing for the state to prove a negative, so they have to prove that he did not reasonably use self-defense, and it's a tough case. And so I think we're going to be waiting this week for that verdict.
The jury must decide if Rittenhouse's beliefs were reasonable, that he thought he would be killed or harmed if he didn't fire. Reasonable, that's what this might all come down to. What does that mean?
Well, really, you've got a number of things going on. You've got Rittenhouse, who showed up with this AR-15. And the question is, people have a constitutional right to bear arms in our state and our country. And the question is that provocation to be running through the streets with the AR-15? Some people say yes, some people say no. Now, as the tension was building between the groups, words were said, actions were, and the question was, did Rittenhouse reasonably believe that his life was in danger from one of the people that he shot? And what is the role of the gun, and how do people react to guns? And so all that is going to be mixed into how the jury sees whether the state has proven that it was not a reasonable exercise of self-defense.
Big decision for them. Hey, I want to ask you about the judge throwing out Rittenhouse's charge of a dangerous weapon for someone under 18. I mean, it surprised a lot of people here. This is what the law says. Any person under 18 years of age who possesses or goes armed with a dangerous weapon is guilty of a Class A misdemeanor. But hold on, there are exceptions in this law, and that was brought up today. The section applies only to a person under 18 years of age who possesses or is armed with a rifle or a shotgun. And Rittenhouse, he was possessing a rifle here. Now, Justice, this obviously may be written back in the day to protect kids who are hunting, but it seems that it also grants permission for someone like Rittenhouse to have the ability to have that gun in Kenosha, correct?
Yes, I don't think the statute was written in mind of a 17-year-old walking around with an AR-15. I think it was designed for hunters, and that kids who had rifles and guns that were not short barrel, that they could legally carry them. But clearly, I think the judge made the right decision here to dismiss the case. The state just couldn't prove that it was a short barrel gun.
How big of a blow is that to the prosecution? I know it's one of the least serious charges, but instead of a story about a teen with an illegal gun, the story the prosecution wanted to tell, now that narrative doesn't exist.
No, and the jury heard about the charge at the beginning of the trial. So I don't know how much they're going to concentrate that it disappeared. But, I'm sure the state would have liked an easy guilty on one and hopefully get the jury thinking about guilty on the others, and they no longer had it. He was facing only a matter of house of correction time on that or jail time. So it's not the penalties. It's just the idea that, the state couldn't prove the case up on that count.
Justice Janine Geske, this is a big case. We appreciate your time breaking this all down for us.
Happy to do it.
Our coverage of the Rittenhouse trial continues online on FOX6Now.com, the FOX6 News app, and on the FOX6 News YouTube channel.